I think so. So why don't you then start the story once upon a time.
Once upon a time in New York City, in a lovely little zoo, there was a chameleon resting on a branch in the sun. And you couldn't tell it was there. It wasn't noticed by passersby. It had turned a nut brown, and it appeared to blend right into the tree branches, and the little patterns of shadow even were not missed by its clever skin. The chameleon was snoozing and resting and began to shift and awaken, and it took in its surroundings, and it saw the people walking by, and it felt unnoticed, and it felt invisible. And it looked at the cage with the monkeys, and they were making a big ruckus, and the people were laughing and pointing and trying to get close without being snapped at. And it looked at the lions, and they were yawning, and the cubs were kind of tussling with one another, and he saw people taking pictures and staring and gazing with wonder, and he just felt so tiny and so insignificant and so invisible. So he started to move along the branch, and then
We're going to go the other way around. Counterclockwise.
And then he had a misstep, and he fell into the trash can that was below the branch.
Oh, what sounds do they make?
It was an abrupt experience, but he landed in several layers of French fries, so he was okay.
Oh.
phew.
I know.
Who isn't okay with French fries, right?
And then
And like all good chameleons, he started to blend in with the French fries. And instead of being up there on that twig and totally invisible and brown and, a little spotted, here he noticed that his skin was starting to feel greasy, and it started turning like yellow, and he looked like he had jaundice. Oh my gosh, he said, oh, this is, I feel terrible. Sometimes it's not so great when you start blending in with everything under the sun, especially when it's a French fry. And then
He thought, clearly I just need to find the right thing to blend in with. This is not it. This does not feel right. But I'm sure if I travel this zoo, I'll find something. I'll find something to imitate that will make me feel okay. So he started to try to climb up the side of the trash can, but he was greasy all over, and he kept slipping. So he was
and
like,
what sounds did he make?
and he was like, oh, this is terrible. Oh my god. And so he called up, hey, hey! And a seagull came and landed on the edge, and he's like, can you please, help me? And the seagull's like, I really don't know how I'd even begin to try, but here, let's go. And the seagull kind of reaches in and pulls him out by the tail and kind of flips him over, and then goes on to eat the French fries, and doesn't give it a second thought. And so the greasy, jaundice-appearing chameleon is flying through the air and lands on
he lands on the sign that says, "This way to the pandas." And he decides, oh, well, I'm going to go visit the pandas, and maybe I could be a panda. And so he scurries off, and kind of runs along the little ledge. And everyone's there snapping photographs, and he's like really, he tries to like kind of get in on a photograph. and then he realizes that he's made some 5-year-old boys really excited, and suddenly these 5-year-old boys have noticed him, because he's not really blending in that moment, because he's sort of transitioning from one location to another. And then
oh, and he has his first experience of, look at me, and all of a sudden he's up on his hind legs, and he's got this excited expression on his face, and the pandas have noticed too, and they're looking at him, and the people with the cameras, they're taking pictures, and it's the first time he's ever had his photograph taken. Oh my God, OMG! Oh, it's a first moment. And then?
So he thought, okay, I don't need to impersonate other things. I just need people to be looking at me and taking pictures. I got it, okay. So he continued to dance well past exhaustion and hunger, and he was thirsty, and until eventually the sun began to set and the people began to leave and he felt terribly empty. He was like, okay, all right, well, maybe I'll go over to the nocturnal section and see if I can dance for the possums, because I just don't like feeling inadequate, and I've figured it out. I just need people to be clapping and looking and taking pictures. So he scurried on over to the possums, and the possums were just waking up, and they're like, what are you doing here? And he said to the possums, like, hey, I'm out of my cage, I know how to dance, check me out. And the possums are like, what? And then
this was a devastating moment. Sorry, it was
Not to be noticed is devastating? How so?
Our chameleon was really at a loss. He even pulled out his top hat and his cane,
of course,
and did another little dance.
What did he do?
He did a little like shuffle off to Buffalo.
Da 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 da.
And nothing. Pulled out his card tricks, his magic tricks.
Talented.
Really talented guy. I mean, this is the thing, like, talented guy.
Yeah.
Really talented chameleon. Really savvy, interesting, clever. Just, was it the wrong venue? So, Chameleon realized that he needed to eat something, and he went out and had some bugs. Yeah.
Tasty. Lots of time. Eat.
Yeah, right. And he was really in a contemplative mood, and he was really trying to figure out what venue at the zoo might support him. And then...
But as he thought, and he thought, and he thought, all he could really do was keep eating those bugs, because he was in such a place of not knowing, and